everyone, welcome back to my channel. I've been noticing that it is now time when high school students are committing to which colleges they wanted to go to, and I've been getting a lot of messages and DMs from friends of my sisters asking me what UC Berkeley is actually like. So I thought I'd film a video for you guys. Berkeley's not what I expected, and I wish someone had told me this before I committed, but here is just kind of what I have done with my time here at Cal, what the academics is like, what my social life is like, and how I used my academic career at Cal to actually propel me into a career in law and where I am with that journey. I am Eiley, I'm 21, I'm a junior, and I'm a political science student who's interested in pre-law. Okay, so most of my experiences is going to be in the political science world, in the philosophy world, humanities. If you got admitted in the College of Letters and Science, most of what I will be talking about will probably be very similar to what your experience is. Obviously, if you are in a different college, such as the College of Engineering or College of Chemistry, then maybe what I'm telling you will not exactly be one-to-one. But at the end of the day, we're all students, and so my goal here is to just tell you my story and hopefully ease some of the worries or anxieties you might have transitioning into Berkeley. I came from a very cutthroat high school. It was very stressful. Personally, I've told many of my friends that I feel like college is not as hard as high school. I went to Mission San Jose High School, and it was a school where everybody was very competitive, and you know, I would say it was a STEM school. Obviously here at Cal, I'm not a STEM student. I am a political science student, so being in an environment where it was very high intensity, where everybody was trying to, you know, max out their STEM courses, I just felt very out of place, and I was really scared that like when I got accepted to Cal, I was like, but I'm not the top of the top at my high school. Like I didn't understand why I got in, and I kind of felt this imposter syndrome up until I would say the end of sophomore year. But you are going to most likely get imposter syndrome when you get here because realistically you're competing with the top of each high school. Don't be discouraged your first year. A lot of what I'm noticing is there's these things called weeder classes where they will push the harder classes during the beginning of your academic career here. They're specifically designed to make sure that if you choose this major, you can survive this type of course load. So what ends up happening is like they will give you harder courses that are prereqs to the upper division classes that you need to take in order to fulfill your major requirements. I know this all sounds very scary. I will film another video about what lower divs, upper divs, what all these technical terms mean, so don't be scared. I took my first political science class as a freshman, but my spring semester, so the second semester, and I got a 60% on my first midterm, a 60. And I remember like being in Meet Fresh and opening my Canvas, and I just seeing that like I got a D on my first midterm, I was like, I am not cut out for this school. Like I can't do STEM, if I can't do poli-sci, which is like what I was really interested in coming into college, like what can I do? But you know, that was the first poli-sci class I ever took. It made me switch into political science. I was actually a global studies major, and even though I didn't do very well in my first poli-sci class, I was like, okay, the grades are telling me that I'm actually learning. Political science I took with Professor Fish. It's Intro to Comparative Politics. One of the most rewarding classes. I learned so much about international regimes and how they work, but my grades really reflected like how difficult it was. But that really shows you just how much I learned, right? And so then that was when I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do. It's gonna be hard, but anything worth doing is hard. You know, that's kind of like what UC Berkeley is like. People say, is it hard? Like, are you crashing out? Is it so difficult? I'd be like, you know, what's the academic culture there? Of course it's gonna be hard. Don't let that discourage you from trying something. Yeah, so it's gonna be challenging, but it's gonna be super, super fun. You're not alone, right? You're in a major with a bunch of classmates, and you're gonna make so many friends. If you're coming in as a freshman, oh my goodness, freshman year is like kindergarten. Just say hi to everybody. And I do have a GBO video. GBO is Golden Bear Orientation. It's a week before school starts where you basically go on a bunch of school-wide events with your orientation leader, and then that's when you get to know everyone. And yeah, you can click on it and watch it if you'd like. It's like a little sneak peek about what your very first week at Cal is going to look like. In terms of academics, don't be discouraged even if it's difficult, and just try new things. I think it took me like 2 years to figure out what I wanted to major in. I was trying many different classes. You're gonna get a college graduation requirements. No, hold on, what are they called? Well, we call them breadth requirements in the College of Letters and Science, where you have to take classes in many different fields. And I took a philosophy course, and I was like, oh, maybe I want to major in this in addition to poli-sci. Do I still want to stick with global studies? And I took a biology class because I had to. Didn't love it, but I did it. I learned a lot. So yeah, just use those opportunities to try everything and just kind of figure out what you like, and don't be discouraged if you can't figure it out right away, because I switched my major probably like 1 to 2 times. All right, so the next thing is the career grind. At Berkeley, you can't just go to classes, you have to build something. It's a good thing that you're here to learn, but there are so many opportunities that Berkeley offers you. Don't be scared if you can't get into your first club that you apply to. There's this thing where like people say Berkeley clubs are very cutthroat and it's very difficult to get in, and you know, the acceptance rate for these clubs is like less than the acceptance rate for the actual university. Some of that is true, but it really just depends on which clubs you're applying to and what you want to do. For me, one thing I really struggled with was like, I felt like if I wasn't joining the clubs that my roommates were joining or that my friends were joining, that were like very difficult to get into, but like there's a reason why, right? Like they offer so many opportunities for their specialized fields. I felt like if I wasn't putting myself in those competitive situations and actually fighting for these chances, then I was not gonna get full Berkeley experience, and I was just kind of like putting myself at a worse place because I wasn't applying to these clubs. And then I realized it's okay if I don't do that. If that's not what I want, then that's totally fine. I think in high school what I was doing was like I was comparing myself to my peers, and I was like, oh, if they're doing this and that to get into college, and if I don't do this and that, then I'm not gonna get into college. Once you're actually in college, it's actually, I realize it's completely different. You do what you want with your time here. It took me a very long time to realize that, but I've gotten to a place where I'm literally only in one club, and I'm kind of using the opportunities and resources from this one club to make the best of my academic career, and how having it propel me into the legal world and the international relations world, which I will get into in the future. There's so many people who probably don't know the same things you don't know. You just have to ask and talk to people. Everyone here is willing to help you, especially like I was afraid that because in high school, if I didn't know what a student resume was, I was afraid to ask my peers because they like look down on me like, how do you not know what that is? At Cal, I'm not feeling that. Like if I need help, I just turn to the person next to me. I'm like, bro, I do not know what's going on. Most likely they won't know either, but you guys can figure it out together. So yeah. Outside of classes, I have dabbled in clubs, I've, you know, searched for internship opportunities. And now I currently work at a law firm in SF, and these are all my amazing coworkers. I can talk more about how I got the position, what the application process was like, and what balancing school and work looks like for me personally. I started applying my sophomore year. I also felt like the imposter syndrome of like, if I don't get this, I'm freaking worthless, or like if I don't get a job, I'm worthless. If I don't have a 4.0, I'm worthless, like stuff like that. But I'll get into that in another video. For me, UC Berkeley has just offered me so many opportunities, and I've tried to take up every single one of them, but I've had to come to the realization that like, even if I don't take up everything, it's okay. Like just because you can do everything doesn't mean you have to, because you're going to reach something called burnout, and that's not going to do you any good. So yeah, so that I think is my law and career grind section for this video. The next thing I want to get into is like other opportunities outside of like specifically applying to jobs. Going back into like the clubs, I'm in one club and it's called Cal Tzu and it is part of a bigger organization called Tzu Foundation, and it is an international humanitarian relief organization. It is an NGO. Again, I'm only in this one club, but it's really about what you do with your time in these clubs that you're in. Even if, like, say you're in 5 clubs, but you have zero passion for what they're doing and you're not putting in any work and you're just doing it because you want it on your resume, there are some pros to that, but obviously the cons are like, if it's not gonna benefit you and you're really not feeling like you're getting anything out of it, in the long run, it's not really doing anything for you. For me, I was like, okay, this club, this organization has a lot of the same values as me, has a lot of the same goals that I want to achieve, and they can help me get there. It's gotten me to the United Nations. So yes, I'm a junior studying political science, so it's very on brand for me to be going to somewhere like the UN. I was put in a position where I knew that I could get exposure to global internship opportunities, and I looked for them, right? I didn't just sit here and wait for people to hand me an internship opportunity. I went on Google, I searched like, hey, I'm already in this club, let's see what they're doing around the world. Berkeley gives you access, but you really have to take the initiative to actually achieve your goal and like basically your dream. Ever since I was young, it's been a dream of mine to speak at the United Nations, to actually go to one of these global international institutions. It seemed bizarre, but yeah, I did it. So for the next section, social life, I made my friends during GBO. I made my friends, the same friends from the dorms, and they are still my core group of friends. Of course, I make friends here and there throughout the years, but like these people, I feel like the main core friends that I made was from freshman year. If that doesn't happen to you, that's totally fine. This is just what happened to me. Making friends freshman year is probably the easiest. As time goes on, people are just more tunnel vision on like career. It's so much easier to do that when you're a freshman because everyone's just kind of like lost, and you know, everyone wants friends. So just don't be afraid to talk to your neighbor if it's a new class. A lot of the times people just want to have a friend in their class, and you're changing classes like twice a year. You know, there's so many opportunities to make friends. It can feel lonely at times, but I feel like making friends at Cal is not something you have to worry about. Just turn and talk to your neighbor. Most likely they are also very nervous and want to make new friends with you. To wrap up, Berkeley is one of the best places that you can be, but it's also gonna be one of the hardest places. One of the hardest, I feel like, academic settings that you could put yourself in. My roommates and I were just talking about like maybe potentially doing an internship opportunity in New York or going to grad school in New York, and honestly, if you can survive UC Berkeley, I feel like you can survive anything. It's going to be tough, but it's going to be so much fun. And SF is right there, so I'll get into like more on like social life and like what else you can do here besides academic clubs and like career, but I know that's probably most of you guys' questions. If you are going to be an incoming freshman and you are afraid and you're kind of nervous, feel free to check out my other videos. I have a video on dorm life, I have a video on what a week for me looks like here at Cal, and I pretty much documented my past 3 years here at UC Berkeley. So feel free to watch them, and I will also be pushing out more videos in this series that I'm calling Eiley in Berkeley. I'm still figuring it out. I still don't know exactly what I want to do, but I know very little people who know exactly what they want to do, and you know, we can figure it out together. And honestly, Berkeley's so much fun. If you're coming to Berkeley, don't be too scared. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know, and if law, political science, or something like that is something that you're into, feel free to check out my next videos, and I hope you can follow along. Thanks for watching.